An unsettling report of domestic violence and animal cruelty. I'm Gabby Crevitt, and I'll have the story coming up.
Ransomware hacks are on the rise. I'm Michael George with a look at how these attacks could affect you.
Oh, and you're going to want to hear that story. There's some great advice in that one. 6:30, Chet Lehman, Caitlin Corbett, Matt Elwell with you here. A lovely Tuesday. It is. Yeah. Cruising right along. Things are going okay. It's not nearly as wintry outside as it was yesterday.
It's still slick in a few areas. And I have a special viewer that I want to share with you. This is Jesse. He's a weatherman in training. He's been training all morning. You see his bottle over there. I'm in the background. It's hard work to learn to be a weather guy.
It takes patience, I see.
We appreciate you, Matt, and all of your hard work.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, for sending that in. Temperatures remain pretty chilly. There is a little snow and ice on a few of the area roadways that we have to deal with. Morning temperatures down to 17 below in West Yellowstone. Most of us are in the teens or low 20s early today. Skies remain fairly clear. There's still a little snow falling from those from some of the snow showers that we had, but that's all suspended in and moving out of the area. The skies are expected to clear as you head through the afternoon today with highs right around that 30-degree mark. We're, of course, going to talk more in depth about that, talk more about road conditions. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, and depending on what time of the morning you come in, you'll see all three of us at some point listening to the top of our desk.
Yeah, I wish I was doing that right now,
I'm just looking for inspiration. I wasn't sleeping, not at all. 6:31 now, our top story this half hour. A Bozeman man facing charges of physically assaulting his girlfriend and of animal cruelty.
MTN's Gabby Crevitt tells us law enforcement finds a troubling connection.
Law enforcement takes animal cruelty seriously, especially when sometimes there's a direct link between animal cruelty and violence towards humans.
A Bozeman man faces charges after slitting the throat of his girlfriend's cat and assaulting her during an argument on Saturday. According to court documents, 36-year-old Alan George Bostic killed his girlfriend's cat after it urinated on Bostic's bed. Bostic reportedly became very angry, took the cat outside, and slit his throat with a knife. I spoke with law enforcement, animal shelters, and animal rescue today. All parties reported that there can be a direct link to animal cruelty and violence towards humans.
It's very common for abusers to want to exert control over their victims or whoever it may be. Typically, if someone is violent to an animal, they're more likely to be violent to people as well.
In Bostic's case, the victim reported he was approaching her aggressively, so she used and deployed a can of bear spray in self-defense. Court documents say Bostic responded by pushing the victim with his hand over her face.
Domestic violence is sadly a fairly common thing, and people that are in those situations need to reach out for help. Whether that be a friend or family or one of the resources that are available in the community.
In court today, Bostic's bail was set at $1,000, and he was instructed by Judge Brian Adams to stay away from all domestic animals. Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Story we're going to continue to follow. Meantime, almost 6:33 now. President Trump's visit to India turned from pageantry to substance today. President Trump kicked off his second day with an elaborate outdoor welcome ceremony in front of the presidential palace.
He also met with India's prime minister, where he says both leaders made progress on a trade agreement, among other critical issues. Stephen Portnoy has the latest from New Delhi.
India rolled its red carpet out in front of its own presidential palace as President Trump continued his two-day tour. After inspecting the Indian honor guard and posing for pictures with India's first family, the president and Mrs. Trump headed to Raj Ghat, a memorial to Mahatma Gandhi. They threw flower petals in the air at the sacred spot where Gandhi was cremated after his 1948 assassination. Mr. Trump was presented with a bust of the civil rights icon. Then the pageantry of this state visit turned to policy as the president and the prime minister got down to business.
We're working on some very, very substantial transactions, and I think it's going very well.
Standing alongside Narendra Modi, the president announced India will purchase $3 billion worth of U.S.-made military planes and helicopters. But aides say protectionist measures here in India have gotten in the way of a broader trade deal.
Our teams have made tremendous progress on a comprehensive trade agreement, and I'm optimistic we can reach a deal that will be of great importance to both countries.
Not far from the meetings, India's capital has been rocked by deadly protests over the country's controversial new citizenship law. It offers a fast track to rights for newly arrived immigrants as long as they're not Muslim. Mr. Trump was expected to relay the White House's concerns over the measure. The president's two-day visit was set to conclude with a state banquet here tonight. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, New Delhi.
President Trump also announced an agreement with India to form a counter-narcotics working group to stop the spread of opioids.
Back here in southwest Montana, 60-year-old Helena man died Monday morning while driving a semi-truck on Homestake Pass in Jefferson County, just east of Butte. Montana Highway Patrol says driver may have suffered some kind of medical problem while traveling westbound on Interstate 90 near Pipestone about 4:20 Monday morning. Truck stalled on the pass, rolled backward, and then jackknifed. The exact cause of death still under investigation. One of the tanks the truck was hauling ruptured and has spilled hot road tar onto the interstate. And
a Bozeman man accused of robbing a hotel Monday morning was arrested after reportedly returning to the scene of the crime. 28-year-old Garrett Elvrom appeared in Gallatin County Justice Court yesterday after being charged with robbery and felony possession of dangerous drugs. Bozeman police officers responded to a report of a robbery at the Best Western on North 7th in Bozeman just before 2 a.m. The desk clerk reported a man demanded money, otherwise he would shoot the clerk in the face. The clerk told an officer the man did not pull out a gun but had a bulge in one of his pockets. The clerk gave Elvrom $330 from the register and warned him if he called the cops, he would come back and shoot him in the face. Elvrom left the scene and came back just an hour later and was placed in handcuffs by security.
Also this morning, Montana State University continues its search for a new police chief. University trying to fill the position after current chief Frank Parrish announced his retirement. That's effective in May. Now this week, the university is hosting several sessions for the public to meet the final candidates.
A Q&A session or a meet and greet, however you want to call it. But it's just an opportunity for them to be available to anyone who wants to ask them questions about their background, their CVs, their resumes, and get to know them.
Becker says they hope to fill the position by the time Chief Parrish retires, and they are currently down to 3 final candidates.
3 veterans from Butte Monday morning were recognized for their military service and their service at home. Congressman Greg Gianforte presented Butte veterans Tom Goyette, Roger Knoll, and Niall Neary with the Montana Congressional Veteran Commendation for their military service and their service to the community. It all happened at a civilian life at the American Legion Hall in Butte.
I think it's great. It keeps the community together, keeps people together, especially if you're serving your youth. As far as Butte is concerned, I love doing things for Butte. I was gone for 20 years. I came back, and I can't do enough for this community.
The 3 men were each given a flag that flew over the nation's capital. And speaking of veterans, there's a contest going on for a logo for the new Southwest Montana Veterans Home in Butte, and you can check out our website for more information.
Back on the national scene, criminals are hacking into local governments and businesses, holding data hostage in exchange for money.
As Michael George found out, the number of these ransomware attacks is on the rise.
New Orleans is still trying to recover from a ransomware hack in December.
Between 11 and 11:30 a.m., we did confirm that there was an attack.
Hackers locked up computers at City Hall, the police department, and the courts. But the Big Easy is far from alone. A report from NCSoft finds ransomware attacks were up 41% last year. That included 113 state and municipal governments, 764 healthcare providers, and 89 universities, colleges, and school districts. Criminals also targeted hospitals and small businesses, often demanding money to unlock computer networks.
It takes just one person clicking the wrong link to destroy all of the data inside your organization.
Dan Patterson is a senior producer at CNET. Why are they targeting these hospitals, schools, local governments?
Cyber criminals go where the money is.
Many institutions and organizations agreed to pay the ransom to free their computer systems. Sometimes it's just a few $100s, but often it's much more. The cybersecurity company Coveware says the average payout was more than $84,000. And when local businesses get hacked, your personal information may be exposed. While these attacks are tough to prevent, there are some precautions you can take.
One of the things that you can do to protect your personal information is to lock down your credit. Another thing that you can do is make sure that you limit the amount of information that you share outwardly.
Those extra steps can help safeguard your identity and finances as cyber criminals step up ransomware attacks. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
NCSoft says global ransomware attacks cost businesses and governments tens of billions of dollars just last year.
Crazy numbers there.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff
Crazy,
here, too.
I know.
You didn't win the lottery, but it might be actually the next best thing.
Oh, man. Montana State University student Joe Thompson won more than $11,000 after making a full court shot at Saturday's basketball game. MTN's Andy Johnson has more on the story.
Joe Thompson has over 11,000 reasons why he's glad he's a Bobcat, and this is where it started.
I didn't realize it went in at first. I was looking for the next ball to shoot again.
But a few seconds later, the crowd told Thompson everything he needed to know.
As soon as everyone erupted, I knew it went in.
Thompson goes to almost every single basketball game.
One of the guys from the sports properties asked if I wanted to do it. I said yes, and then I was able to do well.
And well is a modest way to put it. The average college basketball court is about 94 feet long. Thompson was presented with his check for $11,111 earlier today.
On behalf of the Ribbon Chop House, I'd like to congratulate Joe Thompson, the winner of the halftime shootout at MSU.
Thompson's own family couldn't believe his luck.
My mom was like, "You won $1,100?" I was like, "No, 11,000.
Thompson not only made the full court shot, but just before that he made a half court shot. And as far as the $11,000 question goes, Thompson said he plans to put his money to good use.
I'm going to put it in my savings and start paying off some bills. Got car payments, rent, student loans, get some of that stuff knocked out.
The contest and money was provided by the Rib and Chop House restaurant. Reporting outside the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Congratulations, that's so cool.
That is just wild to make all of those shots.
$1 for a layup, $10 for a free throw, $100 for a three, $1,000 for the half court, and $10,000 for the full court, all in under a minute.
I feel like most people lose it on the three, so then it's like you don't even keep going. But then to get the half court and then the full court, it's just crazy.
Nicely done. $11,111
congratulations.
and viral fame and SportsCenter top 10. And
crazy.
Montana this morning.
Yeah, and Montana this morning, that's the
than
biggest one right there.
Does not get any better than
We
that.
got another crazy story coming up when Montana this morning returns. You have to see it to believe it. It's a snake that features all the colors of the rainbow. That's next, and first, here's what's ahead on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, the countdown to the CBS News Democratic debate. It will be held tonight right here on this very stage. We will talk about the big expectations for the candidates and the questions we want answered. Also, we visit the historic Mother Emanuel Church, where parishioners were victims of a deadly, racially motivated attack, how they're turning tragedy into action. Plus, the Harvey Weinstein conviction, the verdict is in. One of the women at the center of that case, Miriam Haley, will be in Studio 57 to talk about the verdict. And celebrating Kobe Bryant. We'll hear from his wife, Vanessa, during the very emotional tribute to the NBA legend and their daughter, Gianna. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.